I guess my advice on lots of this for all of you is that you need to try to nurture lots of different things. One is your own personal brand and identity. And what do I mean by that? And I think I've had periods in my career where I've said, okay, I'm open for a full-time role, I'm open for an interim role, and I'm open for a fractional role. And I think in my experience, that's the worst thing to do because what you're trying to do in your own mind is keep your options open for absolutely everything, and what you're actually doing is closing it down for and I think being really clear on what you want to do and why, and finding peace with that yourself, I think is the first part of this. I think the second thing, and I can't really emphasize this enough, is be really clear on what it is you're doing. Because I think the challenge, again, if you're a CEO or an MD or a sales director or whatever you are, and I think the comment I had recently from one of the Russam folks was that it's almost a bit of a, I'll call it a rite of passage, that you think people understand what you do and what value you're going to bring because they read your CV. And this is the other thing I've seen in fractional. I don't really have a CV anymore, and it's all about what are you bringing to that business. So are you able to go in there, understand their business problem, because inevitably as a fractional resource you are going in there to fix a problem. That is what you are there to do. Do you understand that problem? Can you articulate that back to them? And then what's your plan going to be? And I kind of split that into stages, and then I say, right, stage one is this, three, four, five, whatever it might be, and these are the things I'm going to deliver in that window. And I guess that's really what has then created then, I guess, the impact in those fractional roles. And what you tend to find is, and Jason touched on this as well, most of my work is within the SME environment. So I have had some bigger projects in much larger PLC businesses, but generally it's SME businesses, sort of 50-ish million is about where it tops out. I've got one at the moment, it's a bit bigger than that, but most of my businesses are sort of 20, 25 million. And it's where they want this high impact resources. Now, the other thing then is it gives you the, but if you're really clear on what you offer, you do a good job, you deliver, you then get access quite often in these SME businesses to a non-executive committee that you sit on boards, you present to boards, and that's what then gives you the access to more interim assignments. And that's certainly I guess the journey that I've found. And I guess